terrific. I really appreciated our time.
Lakes and sunshine and wine.
Not an easy topic, but well worth the discussion.
This is where I wave, right? Like this.
You got it. You've nailed it already.
Yes.
Hi there, this is Karen from Kelowna Now, and I'm here with Jennifer Taylor. She's an assistant branch manager at Orchard Plaza. She's been with Valley First Credit Union for 11 years, and we're here to celebrate International Women's Day.
Yeah.
So that's today. We're talking about how to empower women to become more knowledgeable when it comes to their finances. So I know now it's 2018. Women are starting to take on way more powerful roles in the workplace, CEO, management kind of positions.
Yeah.
Same thing's happening at home. They are taking on way more roles instead of just, the old school cooking, cleaning, everything. But now it's kind of come into an age where women are trying to be a part of those financial conversations. So it's not just the male of the house that's taking on that role.
Mm-hmm.
How can women start to be a part of that conversation and build that confidence so they can kind of move into that position or share it with their spouse?
For sure. I think that's the really important word to use, is sharing it. It's really important that both sides of the family, both sides of the couple, have an understanding of their finances. And you're right, women are taking more of an active role in that. It's really important, talking with friends and family, most importantly talking with your spouse, having that conversation, what are we invested in, what are our goals, what are our plans. So I think that's the best place to start, is having that conversation with your spouse and understanding where you both want to go financially.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So for myself, mid-20s, trying to understand where to start putting my paychecks as I have a full-time job, and I'm just set up an RSP, a tax-free savings account, learning about fees and savings, and I really want to understand everything so that later on I can kind of be a part of that conversation.
Yeah.
So starting as early as possible. Where can I look, to get educated? Like, who should I trust in this kind of situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's most people start with friends and family. Great place to start. Just having those basic conversations about, number one, what's happening in the world, because if you're interested in investing your money, it's important to know what's happening in the world. And most importantly, after you have those conversations with family and friends, it's important to talk to a trusted advisor, someone who's going to take a look at your whole financial picture and start the conversation with your goals. That we never want to start a conversation with how much money you want to make. Let's start with where you want to go. And how we're going to get you there, right? And have a conversation and put a plan in place for that. So that's really the place you want to start.
Awesome. And so that was for me. Like, I easily can go on Google or walk into somewhere and figure out my options. But let's say for my mom, for example, she wasn't really a part of the finances in my family. I always, my dad was involved in insurance, and he kind of took over that role when it came to investing in mutual funds and all that kind of thing. But now that I see her looking after my grandma and taking over her kind of finances, how can someone in that position, like over 50, let's say, that's not super tech savvy or doesn't have the prior knowledge, how can they feel confident or trusted, and where should they turn?
Yeah. We do see that members coming in, their husband's passed away, or it's now their turn to manage the finances, and it's a shock. A lot of them come in and have that conversation. We've had a lot of our older members spend some time with our advisors, and it's just as simple as walking through how to pay bills, how to make a budget. So again, really important that you find the trusted advisor that you can sit down with and can start from square one, helping you from the basics, like I said, budgeting, paying bills, all the way up to investing and lending and those kinds of conversations. So finding somebody that you're comfortable with, that you can have those conversations with, and basically lay it all out.
Yeah, and you suggest, taking advice and getting like second opinions or things
definitely.
like that.
Yeah, I mean, what one advisor is going to tell you, if you don't click with that advisor, or if they don't, what they're saying doesn't make sense, find somebody else. Or if it's something they say makes sense but just seems too good, find somebody else to get a second opinion. There's really nothing wrong with getting more opinions, and finding that one person that you really click with.
Yeah, and I guess some people, a friend like, you have to go do
Yes.
this, or
Yeah.
how do we be wary of what advice we're taking from friends who are in different situations?
And that's a lot of times we have members coming in saying, my friend says I need to invest in this, and that's great. But your friend may have completely different financial goals than you do, right? I mean, if your friend is 20 years younger, they're obviously not financially in the same spot. So that's, take that into consideration. Go talk to somebody who you're comfortable with and say, this is the tip I got. How does that work with my plan? How does that work for me? And the more knowledge you have too about understanding your own situation and understanding how investments work and your time frame and your goals, that's really going to help you too, because you're going to understand more about your own financial situation.
Right. And I guess, women are really emotional creatures. So if someone tells you something, we're like, okay, like if we're in a clothing store and someone says, that looks great on you, you're probably going to go buy it. And it's like, it's hard to not get, sucked into that emotion. And same thing when we're on social media. I mean, we see a post about someone who just bought a brand new boat, but there's probably a backside to that. Like they could be in debt, but up front it looks amazing. How do we not get sucked into that kind of situation?
Well, and like you said, right, it's really understanding the backstory. The most important thing is don't compare, because you have no idea. You have no idea what someone's financial situation is. It's great. They've been to Bali 5 times in the last year. It's great. They have a brand new boat and a great truck, and that's fantastic. But you have no idea how they got there, and that's really just not comparing yourself, keeping in your own goals, understanding what your goal is and what your plan is, and sticking to that. Awesome. That's really important.
And why is it kind of important? I guess it is International Women's Day, and we want to celebrate and empower those women. But why is it important that we're like breaking this stigma? Like, why do you think that that's something that we really need to talk about?
I think it's important because I think, like you said, women are more involved, and there's also, women live longer. That's a fact we know. There is that time where, if your spouse passes away, all of a sudden that's your job to take care of the finances. If you've never done that before, it becomes a situation where it's overwhelming, right? I mean, you've been through the death of a loved one, and all of a sudden now you have to deal with something that has never been something you've dealt with. So it's really important to have that knowledge for later on, and for your own peace of mind. You want to get where you want to have goals for. I mean, your goals, my goals, our spouse's goals are all probably very different. They probably jive together, but we all have different goals too, so it's just really important to make sure you're going with your own.
Awesome. Yeah, so it's very important that as women we're educating ourselves when it does come to finance, because we are taking on more roles and we're becoming way more involved when it comes to these kind of conversations.
And knowledgeable.
Well, thank you so much for Jennifer for coming in from Valley First, and I'm Karen from Kelowna Now.